This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Jose Soto. Ready for another dose of intellectual nudity? Ready? I'm ready. And so, wait a minute, what's this? Okay. This is the news article that I'm going to talk about today. Oh. It's about Chick-fil-A. Anyway, of course, it's been 2 weeks now. More than 2 weeks. I think for me it's been forever. Forever and ever and ever we're going to talk about this shit. Chick-fil-A this, Chick-fil-A that. And I don't think we need to go anywhere. All we have to do is explain what we know, and I've already explained this 100,000 times. I've already explained this. Chick-fil-A supports anti-gay groups that support the imprisonment of gay people, that support the ex-gay fraud and the therapy session and all that shit that, of course, anybody would object to. Anybody, doesn't matter if you're gay or not, it doesn't matter what political stripe you're from. Supposedly, conservatives are supposed to be tolerant. But what if you support these groups that don't tolerate you, that don't want you to exist in this country, that support policies to deport gay people from the United States? People don't know that. People don't know that. Alright. And that's fine. I mean, like I said the other day, or was it yesterday's show, and I said that the majority of the customer base of Chick-fil-A are fatzos, idiots, and morons who don't give a shit about anything. All they care about is stuffing their fat, pimple-faced faces with all this fucked up shit, all this deep-fried chicken crap, and they stuff their American faces with it. That is what we are witnessing. That's what we are about here in this country. We're not about knowing anything, nor do we care about anything, nor do we care about your stupid, silly rights. We don't care about anything. This is America. This is how it is. And believe me, the gay community is no different. Just leave us alone with our glee and whatever else. And we have, really fucked up priorities. I mean, we watch, all these stupid shows. And I mean, it's just, there's so many things to do. So many things that we have to take care of within our community. And then, of course, we have this Chick-fil-A obsession that I think is really not healthy. It's not going to help us. And we're not being proactive. If people are outside holding signs, fine, that's their constitutional right. I don't care. But people are taking it the wrong way. And they're reinforcing these theories that gay people are fascist, that we want to destroy businesses, and blah, 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 all that bullshit. So basically, the dialogue has been hijacked, and we are totally lost, because now everybody's talking about whether or not you support gay marriage. Everybody's talking about that, oh, poor Dan Cathy, poor Chick-fil-A, they were just supporting traditional biblical-based marriage. What's wrong with that? Do you hate Christ for doing that? You hate Christ. By the way, remind me, I have a... let's just do that right now. I want to talk about this email that I received from my friend who's a Baptist preacher, and he is a traveling minister. He goes all around the country, and he related to me. I didn't know anything about this until I asked him some few questions about what he thinks about all this Chick-fil-A thing, because I wanted a Christian perspective. I mean, I do follow the Christian, if you call it theology or not theology. I don't like theology. Christian teachings, the teachings of Christ, love your neighbor and all that stuff, fine. That's all fine and dandy. But the fanaticism and the theology and all that shit, that's really going to destroy a lot of people. And if you can call my friend basically a theologian of sorts. He knows the Bible more than I. I mean, I read the Bible many times already. I know what's in it, and I know what's not in it. I know what's been imposed on it. And if you really want to know the Bible, you have to understand Hebrew or Greek, because the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament was written in Greek. And you have to understand the background of when and where all of these scriptures were written. Most of them were written after the fact. Most of them were written around 400, 500 AD, when a certain Constantine wanted to form a new Roman Empire. And then he formed the Vatican. That's how it happened. So this Baptist minister of mine, he emailed me back and he said, look, Jose, this is not a Christian company at all. And I didn't know that they hate Chick-fil-A, that this minister, a friend of mine, and his colleagues and his students that he hangs out with, they hate Chick-fil-A. Because they remember one time when they went to a Chick-fil-A, and I think they were having a Bible study. I have the email, and you can read it on my blog, the realjosesoto.blogspot.com. And of course, the pastor just talks about how they were pretty much dealt with at a Chick-fil-A because they were having a Bible study. The restaurant told them, hey, get out. Buy something or get the hell out. I mean, it's still a business. And all these conservatives think that this is something that, it has to deal with God and Jesus. If you go, look at the business factor on this. There's nothing religious or Christ-like. And this is what my pastor friend told me about. Nothing Christ-like about this company or any of this back and forth kind of fiasco. Nothing Christ-like. For you to think that you're going to buy some chicken sandwiches and pollute your body with all those toxins and fatty acids, I mean, it's just crap that they sell. It's garbage. Might as well just eat garbage from the fucking garbage can. Might as well. And then get a tub of lard and just eat it. Scoop it with a spoon. That tastes really good, doesn't it? Might as well. All you fat asses and fat lardos. Why not? And so, how do you become Christ-like? By going to a company and buying their products. How is that Christ-like? How does that reinforce Christian values? I don't know. I thought you just go to the church and do your thing and preach. Save souls. No. Now you're going to eat fast food, deep fried chicken shit, fat, and that's how you're going to be able to fix all this. That's how you're going to be able to save traditional marriage. I mean, if you think that the boycott was a bad idea, the reaction to this is really, really pathetic. And I'm having second thoughts. I think, you might make a dent on this, about, this boycott, but in reality, it's a total waste of time. In reality, I don't know if you really are going to make any real change. You might scare them at first, but, I don't believe that Chick-fil-A is shaking in its boots. I think they're pretty much satisfied with what's going on. I'm pretty sure of that. Oh yeah, they're gonna have all these conservatives and Mike Huckabee and Frothy Santorum and the stupid bimbo Sarah Palin. Oh yeah, they're all going to celebrate Chick-fil-A on August 1st, which is tomorrow. They're all going to celebrate Chick-fil-A. Tomorrow is Eat at Chick-fil-A Day. It's their own version of corporate fast food Ash Wednesday. Anyway, but I found this article on The Advocate Speaking of the Advocate, I didn't know that they had Marriott ads all over the place. Yeah, if you go to the advocate.com website, you're going to see some of these ads from the Marriott. Marriott proudly celebrates pride. Proudly celebrates pride. That doesn't sound really, I don't know. That doesn't sound interesting. And it has what it looks like to me, two obvious Mormons laughing at each other. Oh, having a good time at the Marriott. It's kind of funny that the publication, which is the advocate.com website, supposed gay publication, they hate Mormons. That's fine. I mean, I don't hate Mormons, but I hate what they stand for in their Mormonism and their pseudo Freemasonry theology. And you have the Mormons, being all anti-gay, supporting Proposition 8, doing all this crap. And then, of course, biggest Mormon businessman who owns the Marriott, right? And who's the best friends with Mittens Romney. In fact, the Bilderberg meeting, which is the meeting of the big head honchos of all the banks and the big businesses and big corporations and government, they all went to this meeting in Bilderberg. If you don't know what it is, Google it. Bilderberg. And you'll find that they stayed at the Marriott Hotel this year. And they had conferences of how to basically manipulate the election here. And I think by my own analysis and other people's analysis, I think they pretty much chosen and have endorsed Mittens. And they want Mittens Romney to win this election, to beat Obama. Because Obama, I mean, he is a tyrant and he is pretty much a fascist. But he is not really, fast moving. He's not that aggressive with the fascism. I mean, he has signed terrible legislation and signed these executive orders that make George Bush look like a cowboy. But this particular man, Mittens Romney, he's going to cut us off from the head. I mean, Obama is just death by 1,000 cuts. But Obama's going to cut off our heads. Period. Mittens Romney. And Marriott is a huge backer of Mittens. It's kind of funny. It's very interesting. People ask me, Jose, who do you think is going to win? I don't know. It's up in the air. And if we have Mittens in the White House, I think we're going to see the onslaught of Mormon theology, Mormon fascism imposed on the nation, imposed on our government. Mormons worship polygamy. You don't believe me? They still do. The majority of Mormons still believe polygamy is fine. And that's how they were founded. All the founders were polygamists. And if you look at Mittens' history, his father was a polygamist. That's why they went to Mexico. To be able to get married in a polygamous relationship. Look, I don't really care about polygamy. It's just that if you're going to be out there saying that I believe in traditional marriage and all that bullshit, one man, one woman for life, how can you say that with that kind of history behind you? Being part of a religion that still tacitly condones and endorses polygamy, which is totally against traditional marriage. Right? Right, Mittens? Oh, no. Anyway, we'll be back after this short break. Stay tuned. Alright, now let me take on this article. It's very interesting from theadvocate.com. And I think this is the better way, a whole lot better way to address the Chick-fil-A problem. Now, I'm not saying that Chick-fil-A isn't a problem. It is a problem. I'm just don't agree with the approach of having a boycott. That's all. And I've been receiving some emails of people telling me, Jose, how can you not support a boycott? They are anti-gay, the blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know. And the family, the Cathy family that supports all of this, and they own Chick-fil-A, they are Dixiecrats. They believe in Dixiecrat theology. That's why they're based in the South. And they're huge backers of Southern Baptist anti-gay theology. That's been their motto for a long time. So when this whole thing came out a few years ago, I was not really surprised. Because once I researched the family that owns this business, I just, hey, hello, come on. But you can also do some research on Best Buy. How about that? Best Buy and also Walmart, where that money goes to. It's very interesting as well. So, but let's talk about this article. This is the best way, I think, to approach this Chick-fil-A thing. Because everybody's saying that, oh no, now Rahm Emanuel wants to ban, and like a tyrant fascist, to ban Chick-fil-A from Chicago. Ooh. Well, first of all, I thought that conservatives hated Chicago and Rahm Emanuel. So why do you want to work there? Why do you want to have a business in a place and support a place like that? Why would you support Rahm Emanuel? Because you have to pay taxes, and those taxes go to the Chicago mob, or whatever you want to say. And then, yes, of course, Rahm Emanuel is involved in the mob. I know that. I'm not a dummy. I know what's going on behind the curtain. So, but the aggression is no longer towards Rahm Emanuel. It's towards the gays. Because Rahm Emanuel unloaded that fury on us. Rahm Emanuel is a sneaky little weasel, by the way. I mean, this is how he pretty much handled this situation, by trying to say, oh yeah, I'm going to ban Chick-fil-A. And that made gay people look bad. It made us look like we want this. Like we decided to ban Chick-fil-A from all of these cities. And no, we're not going to do that. I'm not for that. I don't know. Maybe some of you are. Some of you are. I don't want to see a Chick-fil-A in my neighborhood. Fine. But at the same time, we also have churches who are anti-gay, and you know, they are down the street from your house. You know, your local Baptist church, or your local Pentecostalist church, or Assemblies of God, or another Dixiecrat church that is established in your community. I mean, you're gonna have to really rethink this, okay? Because the way that they're trying to paint us is going to encourage them to do more business with Chick-fil-A and buy their shit food. That is what is going to happen. But this is the best approach that I know. Here's a news article. Says Schnippers Quality Chicken, an American-style restaurant in New York City, announced Tuesday via their Facebook page that they would donate a portion of proceeds to the nonprofit organization Marriage Equality USA, undoubtedly jabbing at chain competitor Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy stands against same-sex marriage equality. Schnippers will donate $1 from every purchase of Schnippers chicken fillet sandwich throughout the month of August to Marriage Equality USA. Well, that's very generous. That's actually quite a bit of chunk change right there. The restaurant's Facebook page reads, "A truly good chicken fillet sandwich would always be in favor of marriage equality. Ours is the best you'll ever have, since it's made from fresh chicken breast and hand dipped to order in our seasoned corn flour blend and buttermilk." Well, that sounds kind of delicious. It's super crispy and it's gluten-free. The sandwich is tasty. Marriage equality is timely. And I think this sounds a little bit more healthier than the Chick-fil-A shit that they sell. Well, that's good, actually. This is really good. I really like this. I think this is the best approach I've seen so far regarding Chick-fil-A. None of this bullshit of, oh yes, let's ban Chick-fil-A, let's do this and that, let's have people outside with signs and protesting and, you know, having a kiss in, whatever that, I mean, no. What we need is proactive approaches, and either that or back away. And right now I think we're so knee deep in this shit, it's kind of hard to back away. I wish we would. Trust me, I wish we would back away from this crap. You know, the best thing to do would be if everybody that has money get together. Let's say, let's have a meeting at the Marriott. Well, they love us, don't they? The Marriott Hotel. We have a little meeting there at the Washington, D.C. Marriott, and, you know, hang out at the Mormon Hotel and plan together how to bring millions of dollars. We could have a lot of donors come in, rich donors. Hey, there are a lot of gay rich donors, but they don't give a lot. What's up with that? Think about that. There are a lot of gay people within the gay community, a lot of us that make good money. There are a few of us that have a lot of money, worth millions of dollars. Like Chris Hughes, and he only donates like a couple $100,000 here and there. Come on. If gay marriage equality is that important, and it's a constitutional right like I believe it is, hey, chug that money over. Open up your money bin, Uncle Gay Scrooge. I mean, I'm just wondering myself, because if I had a lot of money, I would donate more than half of my money to this cause. If I feel it's worthwhile, and it is. So, hey, we could have a fund, open up a fund, and for every Chick-fil-A sandwich that is sold, we will donate, let's say, like 50 cents to a marriage initiative like in Washington State or Maryland, right? And that would definitely be a fire back at the Chick-fil-A people and all their defenders and all of their prostitutes that defend the Chick-fil-A pimp. That would be a nice way to get back at them. It would. For every Chick-fil-A sandwich that is being sold, 50 cents will be added to this fund. I like that idea. So if you're anti-gay, and you don't like gay marriage, but then you go to Chick-fil-A because you support Chick-fil-A, oh yes, you don't realize that every Chick-fil-A sandwich is gonna bring us closer to marriage equality. That would be a good idea. But who's gonna take it? Nobody. But Snipers at least is doing the right thing. And I never heard of this restaurant before. It's in New York City. Alright. But to me, again, why do we need to boycott Chick-fil-A and make ourselves look like a bunch of morons? I mean, that wouldn't look good. But if we have this scheme, like I said, where each Chick-fil-A sandwich that has been sold, for every sandwich that is being sold, 50 cents will be added to this fund. I mean, that's a clever way to get at their game. And believe me, the other side, these anti-gay freaks are going to stop with this crap, and will go back and hide back in their caves and their bunkers. That's where they belong. problem is that whenever we attack something like this, I mean, look, the problem is that we unleash so much stupid vitriol from these people. And all this was not necessary, by the way. And the fact that the whole debate, the whole dialogue, and the discussion has changed from the original intention, that is to make people aware that this company donates money to organizations that think that throwing gays in jail is good and who want to deport gays out of the country. Well, I'm sorry about that. Well, you see, it would be different though if we had Chick-fil-A donate money, let's say, to an organization that believed that we should deport all the blacks to Africa. How about that? Oh, but you can't compare gays to blacks because, I don't know, gays are not humans, or blacks are not humans, or what does that mean? You can't compare gays to blacks. They're not the same people? You mean we're not humans? We're not people with basic needs and necessities? And I mean, I just don't know. I don't know about that. You know, and that kind of really you know, it doesn't drive me crazy, but I'm just saying, you know, what's the point then? I mean, if you want to keep the civil rights trademark to yourself and say only blacks can use this, then what's the point? I mean, if Martin Luther King was all about, you know, being equal to the white man and being equal to everybody else, then you're saying no. Now you cannot use that. So what you're saying is that you're not equal to anybody else. You're something special then. I don't know. You see, because we gay people, when others use our tactics and they look up to the gay rights movement, like the Hispanics do that, the Latinos, my other community does that. Mexicans do that. Those that are fighting against our Arpaio are doing that. You know, they're using our tactics and using Harvey Milk and using all this stuff. I mean, that's fine. And nobody in the gay community is complaining. Nobody's saying, hey, you illegals, use your own damn people. You know, use Cesar Chavez, which, by the way, Cesar Chavez was not for illegal immigration or Dream Act or any of this stuff. But, okay, that's a whole different issue. I understand. But I do understand that Cesar Chavez was protective of gay rights, and he was very clear on that, too. So, I wonder why no gay activist really uses Cesar Chavez. I mean, he's not perfect, and he's not as glorified as MLK, but he's something, isn't he? And besides, the growing voting population now is Hispanic, Latino. So we can go that route. Not a problem with that. And I warned all the gay activists that I knew in California. I knew what was going to happen. Get engaged with the Mexicans. We need them on our side. We need Spanish ads. We need Spanish-speaking ads and Spanish-speaking people to go out there and do the outreach. But I said, no, Jose, we have already enough. The blue voters, which is the liberals. We have, you know, the white liberals on our side. What do we need, you know, what do we need these people for? And they thought the blacks were all going to vote in our favor. That was a huge misconception there. And because nobody did any outreach to the Mexicans and the Hispanics in California, guess what happened? 52% of Hispanics voted for Prop 8. In fact, I heard of a news report back then, and right after Prop 8 was passed, and Univision did a spread on this whole issue, and they talked to many Spanish-speaking voters who didn't know how to vote on this, and they thought that voting yes meant yes, allow gay marriage. They didn't know that voting yes meant banning gay marriage. I mean, it was just, nobody did their homework. Nobody did their job. Somebody was asleep at the wheel. And when I went to those meetings, I brought these issues up. They said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Jose was all." It's like we were trying to lose Prop 8. It's like we were trying to really fuck this up. So when I say that there is something rotten within the gay community, don't take offense to it. There's something wrong within the gay community. And like I said, the best way to destroy this community is not from the outside. It's not, with all this conservative anti-gay stuff from the outside. It's going to come from within. It will. And if you're not ready, shit's going to hit the fan. So that's all I have to say about that. But hey, today we don't have to worry about Prop 8 because, we're going to fight it in the courts. I'm going to talk about that when we come back, so stay tuned. But we were asleep at the wheel, and that's what happened. And nobody took the fault. Equality California fucked up. Some heads did roll, but not everybody's heads rolled. Joe Salmonese was still making $300,000 a year. Prop 8 passed under his legacy. Anyways, we'll be right back after the short break. So, Prop 8. Yes, Proposition 8, which was passed by some people say small majority, but still a majority nonetheless, of voters from a blue state, California, very liberal state, very blue state, very democratic state, and yet they passed Prop 8. But now the Democrats are trying to live up to their image and their this false ego that we impose on the Democrats being pro-gay, that they're going to add this platform to the the gay marriage thing. They're going to add a gay marriage plan to the DNC platform. Alright, and of course Pat Robertson got all pissed about that. The death knell for the Democrats. I thought just being a Democrat was a death knell. People are fed up with both parties, by the way. It doesn't matter. I mean, look, you can try to say, "Oh, now look, Jose, now the Democrats have a gay marriage plank on their platform." Okay, so what? They're still liars and cheaters and crooks. What does that mean anyway? So, Obama supports gay marriage. I knew that since 1996. He supported gay marriage. And then he lied to Americans by saying that he was against it. Basically, that's what happened. And yet, you still supported him while he was lying and saying he's against gay marriage. Maybe all of us knew that he was lying. We kind of sensed it, or there was this underlining understanding. Yeah, wink, wink. We know what's going on, Obama. We know you're on our side. And so what happened is that we supported a liar, a cheat, and a crook. And a fascist, to add to that. But at least he's not a fascist against us. Oh, that's true. But since being a fascist, he has all these fascist mechanisms that he imposed through executive order. Just wait until we get an anti-gay fascist. So now the Prop 8 proponents are going to go to the Supreme Court, and they pretty much submitted a petition today. Here's a news article stating that proponents of the California ban on same-sex marriage, Prop 8, have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to hear the case in what will be the final showdown of the state's same-sex marriage ban. The case would have far-reaching impact on similar marriage bans across the country. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it depends what the Supreme Court says and what they do. Because the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said no, not that banning gay marriage was bad itself, but the fact that you had it before and then you took it away, that was the reason why it's unconstitutional. But maybe that's the best approach. Now, I've heard from some people, and I think that there is something to this Ninth Circuit ruling from the 3-judge panel, and the dissenting vote, which was Judge Smith, a Mormon operative in the Ninth Circuit. You have, of course, what's his name? I forgot. But there were several circuit judges who are Vatican operatives who were really mad that the entire circuit didn't want to take this case up. I was waiting for that to happen, but I was a little bit surprised that the entire Ninth Circuit voted to reject a rehearing of the case. So now it's going to either go to the Supreme Court, or shortly we are going to see gay marriages being performed in California. So the thing is that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals stated that because you had gay marriage before and then you took it away, that is what made it unconstitutional. Now, is that really the case? I don't know. There were, depending on the Romer case, which is where they took away rights from gay people, they had rights before, which was protections and anti-discrimination ordinances that the entire state voting bloc basically took away. And of course, the Supreme Court then stated that it is wrong to do so based on animus towards the gay community, and that's what they said. Now, some people are saying that, okay, this is, to give, the Supreme Court a better chance to not hear the case and just go ahead and reject the petition. But there's that's very interesting, and I just want to think this through a bit, because what I know and what I hear through the pipeline is that Justice Kennedy is pretty much in charge of the Ninth Circuit. He came from the Ninth Circuit. He has a lot of strong personal, I want to underline that, personal connections with many of these circuit judges and the 2 judges that ruled in favor of gay marriage. And of course, that's pretty interesting. That the deciding vote is, of course, Justice Kennedy. And he came from the Ninth Circuit. And of course, he's very close to these circuit judges, and the ones who voted down Prop 8 are also very close to Justice Kennedy. And Justice Kennedy is in charge because every Supreme Court justice is assigned a circuit or 2. If they're 2 small circuits, they get assigned circuits to oversee them. And Justice Kennedy is overseeing the Ninth Circuit. And he's very close with these circuit judges, the way I see it. So either Kennedy had his hands on this, that could be, he could have his hands on this opinion. Kennedy could just say, hey, the only way I'm going to approve this, because I don't want to look like an activist judge or something like that, is if you write it like if it was Romer, you just go based on Romer and just, don't establish any new rights, don't establish any new precedent, because that's what, if you read the Ninth Circuit opinion, that's what basically it does. It doesn't set any new precedent. And of course, there are other arguments saying, oh, it's really bad. It's a really bad argument. And to me, I think it makes sense, because these circuit judges have a lot of connection with Justice Kennedy. And if you want to win it, I think this is the way that you're going to do it. But the other thing is that you have Ted Olson, who's the attorney in this case for our side, if you want to say that, who is saying, no, we can use the original judgment, which was from Judge Juan Walker declaring a constitutional right to marriage, and use that. So I don't know what's going on. And you have the other factor as well, and that is the John Roberts factor. Interesting that John Roberts was the deciding vote for the Obamacare ruling. Some people are saying that he was against it. Yeah, he was against it until the very last minute, and in which he changed his vote. Because if you look at the dissenting opinion, it sounded like it was already set that they were against, that the majority of the court voted against Obamacare. But what I think what happened was that Justice Roberts was part of the rats of the court. Rats. R-A-T-S. Roberts, Alito, Thomas, Scalia. The rats of the court. Who coined this? Oh, that was my favorite author, Dr. Webster Tarpley. He's a very good guy, by the way, and he shows up on all these independent media outlets and RT, and yeah, he goes on the Alex Jones show, and he gets shouted down by Alex all the time. Poor guy. But yeah, I mean, if you look at how they rule, especially Scalia, I mean, that guy's a fascist. And Scalia the other day said, wait, now there is a... See, when I came out and I said that Scalia was a fascist, people didn't believe me. Oh no, he's an originalist or whatever. No, he's not an originalist. Because if you are an originalist, the Constitution is pretty much dead. But now he's saying that there is room in the Second Amendment to regulate guns. Basically ban guns, and you have gun control. Most of it which is not really good, if you ask me. Look, we need guns to protect ourselves, alright? There are gay people with guns, by the way. And there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. But now, Scalia is gonna tear that down for you. That fascist, no good for nothing, piece of shit. Can I say that? Yes, I can. That's Scalia, though, but Scalia, being the fascist that he is, and his father was a fascist activist for the Italian government, of course, he's going to rule against gay marriage, no matter what. He's a Vatican operative. He is totally involved with the Vatican. He's friends with the Pope. And, hello. And his hands are involved in a lot of fascist activity. And of course, if you read some of his arguments, his opinions on gay stuff, oh my god. Like he says, wait a minute, we have a right to judge you and to punish you because we find your existence to be immoral. I mean, all the shit that he says. How can this man be a judge? I mean, okay, if you're saying that the Constitution doesn't provide those protections, then just say it. Just like Justice Thomas is saying it. Now, Justice Thomas, who is an originalist, he said, look, in the Lawrence v. Texas case, he said, the bans might not be good against sodomy, and I wouldn't support these, but there is nothing in the Constitution that says that that Texas cannot do this, so there you go. And that's all he said. I mean, it was like a paragraph. But Scalia, he went on a dither. and he's from the same school from Frothy Santorum. Frothy has connections with Opus Dei and with Knights of Malta. Look that up. Scalia is also involved in that same school, and his kids, Frothy's kids, go to a school for kids that is controlled by Opus Dei. You don't believe me? Google it. Research it. Do your homework. I always keep saying that. Do your homework. But what's going to happen to Prop 8 once it reaches the court, that's another question. I mean, it's already there now, so they're going to respond soon after their recess. So we'll see what's going to happen. But expect Scalia, president and chairman of the rats of the court, Roberts, Alito, Thomas, Scalia. And Thomas is going to actually, he's going to say there's no right because he doesn't, he's somebody that reads the Constitution as it is, right? That's what they say. Doesn't want to apply it to current issues. I mean, the founders and the framers of the Constitution knew that there were going to be issues that were going to be brought up later on in the future. And they drafted a Constitution that was vague on specifics, but clear on intentions and clear on the ideology of the Constitution, which was liberty and equality, equal treatment. And we're not saying that everybody is equal at the same level. We're saying that the government shouldn't be treating people differently because of whatever stupid reason. Right? Anyway. How is this going to lay out? Well, let's talk about this a little bit more after this short break. I'm Jose Soto. You're listening to the Jose Soto Show. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Now, if you look at Obamacare and the ruling that ensued after from the Supreme Court, you want to know what happened to Roberts? Is he now becoming a liberal? What I do know from personal experience is that because I had an ex who does have seizures just like Roberts, and he needed, just like Roberts, medication. And just like Roberts, certain medications that he took made him act a little weird, childish, and forgetful, and it's on the label. Now that's one probable cause, and some people have been throwing it around. Michael Weiner, aka Michael Savage, Weiner Nation, he said, that's what happened. And of course you had the bozos over at the World Nut Daily. And some of the stuff that they say is true. I mean, but the problem is that they get so wacky about it that, they take reality and then they go and zoom into the stars and to science fiction and all that. I mean, that really just... I mean, there's nothing wrong with having theories. But when you're going to start being a fanatic about that, then there's a problem. I mean, I have my own theories, and I'm trying to put together a documentary for all of you. And it's going to be a very interesting documentary. It's my theory on why we're gay. And it's not what you think, I mean, some people say it's born this way, I'm born this way. Well, I have a kind of similar theory, but it's going to be more intriguing. And it's going to explain all of that, and it's going to be further down than just born this way. And I think there's more to that than what you think. So, if Roberts was under medication and he was basically high on meds, and that made him be forgetful and made him act like a child. Of course, yeah, that could happen. He could change his mind. But what I think happened was really simple. Wall Street came down. The Wall Street heads, the head honchos, and you had, of course, the medical insurance companies. They came in and they said, Roberts, you better vote for this or else you're going to get it. I believe he was either threatened. I believe he was either compromised or something like that happened. There's something about Roberts that we don't know about, and I think we should know. Because if we're going to send this important case like Proposition 8 to that court, and you have all these justices having issues or being compromised or threatened or blackmailed, then we have a problem. Now, in this case, who's going to do the threatening? Chad Griffin from the Human Rights Campaign? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we don't need to do that. We have, maybe, like everybody else is assuming, that we have Justice Kennedy on our side. That could be true. But what if there's something that may not be working in Justice Kennedy, and we have to look at Roberts? Well, with Roberts, what they did was, this is what I think happened. Roberts was in his office. They came in and they said, look, you better do this or else, we're going to deal with you, or we're going to expose something about you to the public that's going to lead you to being impeached. And we want you to support this. Yes. We funded this school of thought that, this whole conservative thing about not wanting to purchase or make people purchase a private product, which is in a way true. You cannot force somebody to buy something. That's totally, it's not unconstitutional, but it's not even right. Because that's the way that you kill competition, is by having the government kill the competition for you. And saying what kind of product and from whom you can buy it. That's total fascism. But the Constitution is not really clear on this. The individual mandate was horrible. It's a horrible policy. And it should be repealed. But they went in and they said, hey, yeah, we paid for all of this for your schooling. We paid for this theology, this type of ideology that you have. Forget all that. Fuck that. And I want you to focus on this, Roberts. You need to change your vote and vote for this now, or we're going to have problems. Do you like that? Good boy. Good boy. Here's a piece of paper now. Go ahead and rewrite your opinion. That's right. Good boy. Good boy. That's right. We know that you're going to pull through. And now, unless you have that kind of weight, I don't know what's going to happen. It could be that they just say, no, screw it. We're not gonna take this case. That could be. I think that's more of a 60% chance that that's going to happen. 40% chance that they will take it. Let's start with that, because once they take it and they're going to hear the case, then that means that Kennedy is either not convinced enough, or Kennedy wasn't part of the original Ninth Circuit opinion about this whole case. So Kennedy will either rewrite it, or we might lose. But for now, let's just focus on this. Let's just say what's going to happen. Are they actually going to accept the petition? Will there be a rehearing? And who voted for this? Because you need 4 votes. So even with Justice Kennedy, you still have 4 votes in the court to accept this petition. You have the rats: Roberts, Alito, Thomas, and Scalia. Scalia will be the head honcho on this. He will definitely vote for it to rehear the case and change the outcome. But then you have Thomas, who is probably going to join in, and you have Alito. But what about Roberts? That's going to be interesting too. Now, if the meds were the reason why he went all bonkers and changed his opinion, that was, he already written one opinion. He already wrote an opinion that he was going to, or he voted to against Obamacare. Because what they do is, after they hear the case, they go to the back to office and then they vote on the case. And then based on the votes, somebody is chosen to write the opinion, and that's it. But during the writing process, sometimes justices can change their votes, and this is what happened. I don't know if maybe if Scalia is hyped up on drugs again or meds, we might see something different again. But that's if that's true, and it also depends if the person that's taking the medication, because I've seen this happen to my ex. And the only way that they can get all the bad symptoms, like the forgetfulness and all that, is if a certain type of person has to fit that kind of, or has to be predisposed to that kind of reaction or that kind of side effect. But sometimes when, I don't know, maybe they switch his medication, maybe they give him new medications, maybe his seizures changed, or maybe a medication he was taking for many years is not working anymore. Now he has to take a different kind of medication that has those side effects. We don't know. I'll try to find out. I would love to find out, because then we have a clue as to what the dynamics of this court. Many people are saying, yeah, we have the liberals on one side. You have Breyer, you have Kagan, you have Sotomayor, right? And then you have Ginsburg. That's the liberal side. Then you have the rats on the right wing side. And then you have poor, lonely Justice Kennedy, who is the deciding vote on many of these cases. It goes further than that. I mean, it's so much more that we don't know about this court. And it's our court, by the way. Supposed to be. I mean, the court is where you confront the tyrants. That's where you confront Wall Street. You can confront anybody. Somebody did you wrong and you can sue them in court. But now the court system has become a circus. It has become a circus. What do you do in court? Well, you play tennis on the court, right? And how do you play tennis? With a racket. Because it's a racket. And that's what it is now. But it's supposed to be that in the court, that's where you confront, that's where you get justice, supposedly. And that's where that's where things all become equal. All things being equal. All things being well balanced. That's why the court is symbolized by a balance. By a scale that's being held by, some people say it's Lady Justice. No, it's actually, I forgot what that represented, but the statue that holds the scale is, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Anyway, but the scale that you see in a lot of these courts, this symbol of the scale represents that all things are going to be equal. So when people say activist judges, what they're saying is that they didn't get their way. That's what they're saying. So you have, just because there are more people who voted for this doesn't mean that it is right. I mean, if you put 7 million people on one side of the scale and then you put the other people in the other side of the scale, well, the 7 million people are going to outweigh the other one on this scale of justice. So what's going to happen is, of course, this is not equal, and it's not just. You have to have, when you go to court, you confront your opponents, and on an equal basis, and the merits are debated, not only debated, but are weighed against each other. And they're weighed against the law. In this case, we applied the Constitution, and it ended up applying to already Supreme Court precedent, which is, of course, the Romer versus Evans case, the Colorado case where they took away rights from gay people. But, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what this court is about. We don't know. So, I'll be surprised if they actually take this case and they rule in favor of gay marriage. That will not be. That's about a 30% chance right now, the way I see it. More likely, they're gonna just reject the petition. Roberts might decide that. I don't know. Just look at the precedent. Unless Roberts, he's infuriated with all this Obamacare thing. And this is what I think. Oh, this just popped into my head. If conservatives are so dismayed with Roberts, do you think he's gonna risk more heat by doing that, by allowing gay marriage in California? Think about that. Or maybe, fuck it. I already, earned the badge of being the scapegoat for the Obamacare fiasco and from conservatives. Why not just vote for gay marriage now? I mean, I'm already unleashing the wrath of all these right-wing reactionaries. Why not? See, there's more to this than what you think. A lot of things can happen with this case, Proposition 8. Anyway, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Jose Soto Show. I'm your host, Jose Soto. Get ready for some more intellectual nudity, and we'll be right back. And I just got the news a couple of days ago, and I haven't talked about this, but one of my cousins in Mexico, he was assassinated by some members of these drug cartels, and I didn't know he was involved in that. And when I said that, some members of my family got upset. They want to have this image of this young man. He was 24 years old, by the way. They want to have this vision of this young man, that he was innocent. He was not involved in any shenanigans, but that's not what I see. The only way that you will get killed in Mexico by the cartels is unless, of course, you are caught at the wrong place at the wrong time while they're trying to execute somebody. And that happened quite a few times already. But he was sought out and he was killed. And they dismembered him, and his body was all hacked up, and it was horrible. So they had a closed coffin procession, and my family is kind of a little bit upset. Obviously, they are in mourning, but I'm taking a different route and saying, look, he was involved in this. He was looking for trouble, and he got it. And obviously, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Don't be doing something that you're gonna fuck up later on. But I don't know. Once you get involved in these cartels, in these gangs, you're pretty much dead. You're just a ghost waiting to expire. Unfortunately, he expired a couple of days ago. So, anyways, I have a post about that in my site, in my blog. But, yeah, it's pretty sad. It's pretty depressing. But, on the other hand, you know, I'm here and I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm not asking for trouble. I'm not looking for trouble. And of course, everybody, my family is texting me with this shit, you know, like, can you help us? Can you do this? Yes, and I did help. Alright, I did help. Because I felt bad about this. But at the same time, I'm not gonna support this morally or spiritually, saying, you know, yeah, poor guy. No, no, no. He knew what he was getting himself into. And he just met the wrong crowd. But in Mexico, there's also other things going on. There's kidnappings, and then they ask for ransom money and all this. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in Mexico. But latest report is that the kidnappings are kind of dropping. I don't know what's going to happen. Mexico needs to get its act together and let the people arm themselves. I mean, that's why, in many, you know, for many reasons, a lot of people have a second thought of burglarizing or raping people or trying to kidnap anybody here in this country because they're afraid that that person might be packing heat, right? But in Mexico, it's illegal to carry firearms, just to let you know. But in Mexico, more people are dying over there than they are in Afghanistan and Iraq or any of these zombie wars that we have in Syria or anywhere else. There are more people dying in Mexico than anywhere else right now. Any of these conflicts that we have. So, that's pretty, as we say, pretty fucked up, man. Anyway, enough of me. I want to get to this article here. This, 1 million moms. Do we know about them? Well, they're not even 1 million. There's what? 27,000? 27,000 moms who call themselves 1 million moms, or maybe they just, I don't know. They weigh 1 million pounds or something. 1 million moms is boycotting Amazon. And if you remember Amazon, the founder of Amazon, he came out and he is going to donate $2.5 million. That's a lot of money for the gay marriage fight, and many of us are very grateful for that. That's a good thing. But obviously 1 million moms is having a fit, and now they're boycotting Amazon. And here's the thing. All of you correctly are going to say, it's not going to work. They're going to look like idiots. True. But hopefully that won't happen to us in our little boycott that we're trying to put together against Chick-fil-A. That's why I don't want to do this boycott. Stop with the boycott. And get on with the proactive measures. Get on with trying to pass gay marriage on all these states that we're fighting in. Well, 3 states. One is to hopefully not get a gay marriage ban on the Constitution. 3 states to pass it legally. So, yeah, we need to get our act together. Stop fooling around. Stop screwing around. Stop screwing around. I mean, 1 million moms is a good example of why you don't boycott unless if it's really big and necessary and it's really extreme. Or the target is, we're able to actually make a dent in it. Like if it's like, let's say, a company that that serves the gay community, or is in a gay area, or is in a liberals or whatever, then maybe we can have a chance. But this company is based in the South, and they serve fast food. They serve deep fried chicken laced with all this shit and all this toxins that make it taste better. People are addicted to fast food crap, and that's what we have in this society. And that's what the problem. That's your problem. That's your obstacle. Doesn't matter what they sell, as long as it's not fast food shit, and that's what they're selling. So guess what? Because of all that brainwashing with the fast food, do you think they're gonna give up the Chick-fil-A? No, they're not. The customer base are not going to do it. In fact, I bet you that most of these people that say, "Oh, we're not gonna eat at Chick-fil-A anymore," I bet you that at least half of those people are gonna go back, and one of these days they're gonna go back because they can't stand not to eat at Chick-fil-A. They're gonna go back and try to buy a chicken sandwich just to stuff their fucking fat faces. I bet you. So let me ask you, is this a worthwhile boycott? Again, think about this. Do you want to look like 1 million moms? 1 million doofuses? 1 million goofs? That's a good question to ask. Maybe we should answer that. In a move rivaling the American Family Association's proposed Google boycott, 1 million moms is encouraging followers to say, "So long, Amazon." 1 million moms suggest their Facebook followers drop the online retailer after Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos and his wife McKinsey made a $2.5 million personal donation to defend marriage equality in Washington state. Microsoft, Google, Starbucks, and dozens of other major corporations have endorsed marriage equality efforts in Washington, with an even ever-growing list of businesses, leaders, and corporations supporting equal rights for LGBT Americans. Even 1 million moms' Facebook followers are questioning the feasibility of the boycott. You see what happens? And you're asking me why I don't encourage this boycott of Chick-fil-A? Because we live in an age where people don't think anymore. They just eat, and buy all this crap. Shit that doesn't even work, that is bad for you, they still buy it. Doesn't matter. Tastes good, looks good. Hey, yeah, it's only $1.99. Plus, you get a side of fries with that shit. We'll see you next time. This is the Jose Soto Show. Good night.